Hello and welcome to this night before news video for the Media Studies Component 1 mock exam, which takes place on the 5th of March 2025. Right, let's talk about structure of this exam. As a reminder, this is your Component 1 mock exam. The last time you did this was at the end of year 10. Now the good news is you've been studying this subject for a lot longer at this point, and more importantly, we've been revisiting all of these set texts over the past few weeks. You need to remember that this exam is 1 hour and 30 minutes long, which gives you just over a minute per mark. There are 2 sections to focus on, with each section having particular set texts, which I'll go through in a minute, that are relevant to the questions. Now, section A is going to focus on media language and representation. Question 1 generally focuses on how media language creates meaning for the audience. Now you want to be careful here and make sure you read the question, because it's generally broken down in such a way which means that particular subsections of the question will ask you to talk about specific elements of that set text. So for example, you might be asked to talk about the text in one section and the images in another. Make sure you don't mix them up. It is really important that you put the relevant information under the right heading. Now for question 2, this is going to focus on representation. And generally there are 2 parts to this question. The first, a smaller marked question, generally 5 marks, that talks about context and how they influence the representation that will be found within a product. And then finally your 25 mark question that will focus on how representation is shown to the audience for the named text. Overall, you want to spend around 50 minutes focusing on section A. Now section B is your industries and audiences section. Question 3 will focus on questions that are relevant to the information about industry of one of your media products. Question 4 will focus on audience, and in particular how a media product will attract an audience and why the audience may use a product. This will generally include a 12-mark question. You should spend around 40 minutes on section B. So, as a reminder of what texts apply to what section. For section A, that media language and representation set of questions, you can get questions on your newspapers, so that's The Guardian and The Sun, your film posters, The Man with the Golden Gun and No Time to Die, your magazines, GQ and Vogue, and your advertising, Quality Street and This Girl Can. For section B, there is some repeat. So for media industries and audiences, you can also get questions on the newspapers, so The Guardian and The Sun. You might also get questions that focus on No Time to Die, and in particular the industry elements, things like regulation, rating, and the marketing that comes into play. Finally, you might also get questions on Fortnite and the Archers. Okay, so we've talked about the structure of the exam and what set texts apply to what section. Let's talk about answering those questions. Now, for most of the questions you're going to have, there's going to be at least one opportunity for you to write a paragraph that provides a point and asks you to back it up. For the 25 marker, you're going to do this 3 or 4 times within the structure of that 25 mark question. And for the 12 marker, you might aim to do it 3 times. So it's always best to remember the following approach, and that's to use Peel to answer your questions. So make your point and give a point which is relevant to the question that's being asked. Next, give an example and back it up with a specific example from the relevant text using your media language terminology. So don't just say it shows. If you can, explain what camera angle is being used to show something, or what aspect of mise-en-scène is conveying information to the audience. Next, explain it. Link it back to the point that you made at the beginning of the paragraph. And finally, if you can, make use of an appropriate theory to back up your point further. Now remember, the key to using theories is to make use of the right one and not just to write them at the end of your paragraph. Explain it, and remember to try and explain what the theory actually is as well. Just as an important reminder, specific examples are absolutely vital to access the higher grade boundaries, so make use of them wherever you can. Okay, so that's it. Everything you need to know about a Component 1 exam and how to do well. Just remember, make use of all of the knowledge that you've gained over the past 2 years while studying this subject, and you will all do absolutely great. I wish you luck in your mock exam, and I will see you soon.